Want to continue that conversation? Joining us now, constitutional law expert Robert McWhirter. Thanks for being with us again.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we do want to start with the latest. The federal judge obviously rejecting Governor Newsom's request for an immediate restraining order to stop that deployment. What do you make of that? I know he said that he was giving the Trump administration more time to respond.
Yeah, first of all, I think it's just to give the administration more time to respond. The other thing, though, is that despite all the rhetoric, it looks like, and I say it appears, that the National Guard and perhaps the military are actually just kind of defending federal buildings and maybe going out with ICE agents. They're not starting to violate the law by actually arresting people like Donald Trump says they're supposed to do, and the Christine Newsom says they're supposed to do or going to be doing. So I think that when you get the actual facts, the judge is saying they aren't quite overstepping their bounds yet, but their presence, and this is the governor's point and the mayor's point, their presence is just inciting this and making the situation worse, not better.
So but the president does have the broad power to federalize the National Guard. So does this come down to just some semantics or words? I know the word rebellion is one that you'll be looking at.
Well, it's interesting you use the word semantics. The Trump regime likes to play with words all the time, and they define things like invasion, insurrection. Look, a protest is not an insurrection. That's a simple fact. And to call this an insurrection, yes, the president can do that under various statutes, call in the National Guard, call in the military for an insurrection or an actual invasion, like a foreign country invading the United States. But what he's doing is playing with these terms and saying invasion, insurrection. This is not an insurrection. This is a protest. Some few numbers of those protesters are committing crimes, and the police are arresting them and taking care of that problem. There's no need for all of this, and it's just playing rhetoric. And frankly, I've said this all along. It's playing rhetoric because actually the Trump regime is failing at immigration law. Their deportation numbers are half of what the Biden deportation numbers were in Biden's last year. So this is all a big show.
Is that, though, playing in Trump's favor, that he's playing with these words, using the word insurrection, but not actually invoking the Insurrection Act? Is that doing exactly what he wants it to do, appealing to people who are, into what he's doing here, but not actually doing anything that's illegal?
Yes, I think so. If you look at his polling data, he thinks he's polling well on this immigration issue. He's polling poorly on the economy and everything else. So he may invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807, which was supposed to be an exception to the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878. And so he's trying to play with all these things. But again, the Insurrection Act applies to an insurrection, not to a protest. And once we start calling protests that are protected by the First Amendment insurrections, that's a terrible thing for the entire country. We have a right to protest, and he's trying to quash that right, and therein lies his problem. But I don't think that his troops and the National Guard is stepping over yet, because I think he knows he has a court hearing coming, and he may do okay because he's not the facts on the ground gone that far.
So the judge overseeing this lawsuit is Charles Brier. Can you tell us a little bit about what you know about him?
Well, he's Stephen Breyer's younger brother. Stephen Breyer is the recently retired Supreme Court justice. Justice Brier was considered to be a liberal, although those terms are not quite the way it necessarily comes out, but that's what he was considered. Already the right-wing media is kind of trying to discredit Judge Brier. My expectation is that Judge Brier will be a good, conscientious, hardworking federal judge like the vast majority of them are, and the public are well served. He will judge the case on the merits, and if the Trump administration has a good argument that there should not be an injunction, they will prevail. If not, they will lose. And then Trump will complain about him and say that somehow he's the problem, when in fact it will be the fault of the Trump administration.
All right, Robert McWhirter, we always appreciate you joining us and giving more context to what's happening. Thank you for being with us.
My great pleasure.